3. We're live, Mr. Chairman. I yield, sir.
Thank you. Pleasant good night to good evening or good night, good day to wherever you at. To all our viewers and listeners of Belizean Affairs Show, I want to thank you again for us to come to you again with our Belizean Affairs Show number 464 on a blessed
Good.
Wednesday, 22nd July 2026. It's always a pleasure to sit in the company of Mr. Leonard Brackett, our senior panelist,
The
and
pleasure is mine
also
too,
in
Mr.
the
Chairman.
we have our next panelist, senior panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett, who should join us a little later, and also our looking forward to have our next guest, Mr. Morrison, Mr. Gregory Morrison. But in the essence of time, the show must go on, and we go straight into it. And we always start our program with a prayer, followed by a reading. So I ask you, my brother, to Mr. Brackett, to please lead us in a prayer, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Let me just pose this right now. Okay. I'll just bow my head, Mr. Chairman. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence, asking that thou would accept our humble expression of gratitude and thankfulness to you for having given us the privilege of life, first and foremost, and also the opportunity to be alive among our family members, friends, and loved ones in fairly good health. We pray that thou mayest continue to take care of us, continue to guide us, continue to bless us, give us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, endurance, courage, strength, perseverance. We pray that thou mayest give us the words in which to present our program tonight, and may whatever we say and do, may it accrue to the benefit of our people and country of Belize, as well as the rest of humanity. The rest is mercies in Jesus' name. Amen. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard, for that warm prayer. And
You're welcome, sir.
the country and the nation, the world needs prayer, Leonard, because
Man,
we are living in some trying times. And as for me, I could see the end times coming.
hmm
A lot of people would not prescribe to that, but I do.
amen.
So, on that note, I want to go to a reading. Um, one of your favorite, I mean, not one, your favorite book, Leonard, Book of Proverbs.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'll go to chapter 22, 15 to 29. And it reads, folly is bound up in the hearts of a child, but the rod of discipline drives it far from him.
Amen.
Whoever oppresses the poor to increase his own wealth or give to the rich will only be come to poverty. Incline your ears and hear the words of
hmm
the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge, for it will be pleasant if you keep them within you. If all of them are ready on your lips, that your trust may be in the Lord, I have made them known to you today, even to you. Have I not written for you 30 sayings of counsel and knowledge to make you know what is right and true, that you may give a true answer to those who sent you. Do not rob the poor because he is poor, or crush the afflicted at the gate. For the Lord will plead their cause,
Amen.
and rob of life those who rob them. Make no friendship with a man given to anger, nor go with a wrathful man, lest you learn his ways and entangle yourself in a snare.
Hmm.
Be not one of those who give pledges, who put up security for debt. If you have nothing with which to pay, why should your bed be taken from under you? Do not move an ancient landmark that your fathers have set. Do not see a man skillful in his work. He is he will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. That's my reading. Leonard,
So,
from your favorite book, Proverbs, Leonard, chapter 22, 15 to 29.
nice,
Says,
nice, nice reading, Mr.
uh,
Nice reading. Very cautionary reading for those who think that they're above the fray, you know.
and again, Leonard, that last one. Not do will not stand before obscure men.
Uh,
Do not
And
stand
also, and
before
also the part that says about don't go, don't get involved with a wrathful person
a
because
wrathful
you'll
person.
become snared in his, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. Leonard,
Um,
there's a lot going on, my
yes, sir.
brother, and in the essence of time, we go straight into it because every day in this country, there's something new that show its face, and so sadly, it doesn't seem always to profit the poor and less fortunate, or those who practice their constitutional rights.
Hmm.
It seems that our constitution, Leonard, is under attack
Constantly.
constantly, my brother. But
Yeah.
we here on this program, we are stern believers of our constitution, and we hold it in high esteem. So when we see it in parcels, pieces, they want to tear it apart, we talk about it and we stress our concern. Um, Leonard, if you could recall for some time now on previous platform that we were on and this platform, we had always talked about our God-given rights, and how we see it to be. And we have always talked about we see the action of the government, past and present, the road they're going down in terms of want to always take away your rights.
Hmm.
The laws they make, we see it done in this People's United Party repetitiously. The bogus and unlawful SOEs that they inflict on the nation,
Mm-hmm.
the way they come about doing it. And they forget, they flush the Constitution when it tells them exactly how and when you can bring about a state of emergency in the country of Belize. What will warrant a state of emergency? But we here on Belizean Affairs Show, we have denounced all the states of emergencies that this People's United Party, because they are in government and they are the one doing it. We denounce the way it is done.
Mm-hmm.
We denounce it. We have no problem for them to bring out a state of emergency when it is done the right way. And on that note, Leonard, now lately they have been passing laws, capriciously, willy-nilly laws, laws to suit themselves in the House. You stand up and they pass certain laws because they have the super majority, and we see the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, whichever one we want to remember, and things that they want to pass that if the police is passing and they hear you talking about Mr. Brisenio or Mr. Mira or Mr. any one of these ministers, they could come in your house and arrest you, right? Because you shouldn't be doing that.
Dictatorship.
Now, what kind of a message are these people sending? Now, not today, yesterday, now, the Belize Broadcasting Association, Leonard,
Mm-hmm.
remember we were always talking about what they want to do, the road they are going. They want to silence people like us. And I go straight to the point. They are finding a way, they're mixing up a bowl of soup, right? And in that bowl of soup, they're going to put in some ingredients to silence us. And then they're going to pass it in the house. You know that, you're going to have to come and beg them for a license to broadcast our shows, to, you know,
Or to
they
get on the
tried,
internet. Basically,
they
getting
tried,
on the internet and communicating with each other.
yes. And
For
not
us
too
to tell
long
each other.
ago, Leonard,
Uh-huh.
they were talking about, you see these single mothers, these
Mm-hmm.
people with no jobs, these females that do online sale.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon they will be knocking, and we had talked about that on other occasions. Not now. Pretty soon they will be knocking on their doors
Mm-hmm.
to collect their revenues or to see if they have a license. So I want to know if they will do that to all these churches, Leonard, that pops up in your neighborhood around this country, the country of Belize. In every nick and cranny
Well,
corner, you have
Mr.
people.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
can
sir.
answer that question quickly for you, sir. The
Quickly,
answer is
sir.
two letters. Two letters.
Yes, sir.
No. No. And the reason why we have in Belize a state and church organized governance to our people and country. The church have powerful arms inside of the government, and they will their rights as a church, which is also stipulated in the Constitution, that their rights should not be abrogated. Their rights will be preserved because their rights will not be abrogated. But our
Yes, sir.
rights is being abrogated.
Yes, sir. We will. That's an issue that we will discuss, Leonard, because I just brought that up because of the things that is happening. So I
Mm-hmm.
brought up churches. I brought up the people who sell online,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who do these TikTok things and all that to get a little money and to do things on in the internet to get a little money. So I mentioned the church because it's a big business, right? You have them churches for whatever they call them, whatever denomination, whatever, however they name their church. They popped up in the villages, in the towns, and on the corner of your streets and in your neighborhoods. And in my the neighborhood that I am at, I know about maybe like eight of them.
Mm-hmm.
Eight. And that's just one little area. That's one little zone.
They're collecting the taxes that the government's supposed to collect, but they're collecting it for themselves, and they still get additional money out of the treasury from the
So,
government.
Leonard, we're gonna discuss that. Mind you, Leonard, I say Rudy Wade
Rascal.
has no problem with anyone who worship in any form or way. That's their prerogative. I could care less who you worship to, when, how, or where. That's me. To each its own. But the way the government is going right now, I mentioned the churches because there are lots of them. I wonder if they are going after them too. They didn't mention churches, but they mentioned others. And mind you, we do pay for an internet service and we pay our dues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big discussion, Leonard, because we clearly now see they came to this junction now that they bust the bubble to the nation of Belize. So I go to you, Leonard. That's our first topic because it's very bothersome to people who want to call out their politicians, their leaders, the people that collect the taxes, the people that should give account to our taxes. So we we want to see now what they want to do with us, like people like us who want to know or who tell them what they should and should do and call them out. That's my big concern.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Uh, our problem in our country right now is one that the government have this impression that because the Constitution allows for them to make certain types of law and modify certain other types of law as well, that they are overreaching and attempting to change laws here, there, and everywhere according to their own heart content. When in fact, they know that they're not supposed to tread or trample on certain constitutional laws.
But they do it
They're
anyway.
they're they're exempted from doing so. And as you said, they do it anyway. Why? Because nobody challenged them, nobody takes them to court, nobody have the money to sustain a legal challenge against them, and they know that. And they hide themselves. They commit the crimes against the public. They conspire in cabinet first of all to try and bring out these laws, take them to the House, and use their supermajority to so-called legitimize those laws. Why? Because they don't think that the people know better. And because they say so, that's the way it's supposed to be. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Amen.
And I'll quote it from Section 2 of our Constitution, subsection 2, which says, the Constitution of Belize is the supreme law of Belize. And if any other law, everyone who have been with us for this long journey now would recall that every time I cite this specific um, section of the Constitution, I make it a duty or a habit of emphasizing what the other laws are. It's very important for people to recognize the difference. The Constitution, as Section 2 says, is the supreme law of the country. And if any other law is inconsistent with the Constitution, then that other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, is void. What the hell part of that they don't understand or refuse to accept if they believe in our Constitution and they have fidelity to it? But as we have said before on many other occasions, these jackals that we have as elected government, caretaker of our system of governance, violate our system of governance at will. Not because of oversight or omissions or, you know, maybe by error or mistake. They do so willfully. They go to the house and make these other laws and try to impress on the people that those other laws that they make should trump the people's constitution. And that's bogus. The fact is that they go to the house and they make some of these laws, and we have been saying to them repeatedly on this particular platform and in other areas where we have written articles specifically pointing out the errors of their ways and the bastardization of our constitution. But they could care less. It's not because they don't know. It's that they want to do what they want to do, and who's going to stop them from doing what they want to do? They want to prosecute themselves. And the average civilians who get affected by these bogus laws that they know are anti-constitutional and that they put on the book and then turn around now. And when politicians or big political figures are getting hurt by the very same law, now they want to go back and change it again and say, okay, well, it wasn't correct. It was illegal. It was unconstitutional, which we have been saying to them from a long time ago. But because one of them gets snared into it, now they want to go back and change it. But at the same time, they're going to use the same law and go out there in public and beat them unarmed civilians, like the case of this lady with the daughter, who they gone and they rough up and beat up, and then the social worker, she gone and throw him a couple of blows and throw down the lady on the ground and dip on top of the young lady, and while the other one then you know, help her beat on this young lady. She don't have no damn right for raise the hand as a social worker to know civilians. Even the police officers have no right to do that. But she gonna turn around and somehow or another they gonna claim that she got assaulted. Okay?
That still didn't give her the right to put her hands
because
on,
she's not a police officer.
Or try to arrest. She's not, yeah, exactly.
She don't have that capacity vested in her as a social worker.
Exactly.
She's there as a social worker and she was trying to do somebody else's bidding or a favor on behalf of somebody else. Otherwise, she should not have gotten herself involved in any physical fray. So they come with the demon, with their devilish, malicious behavior, and they want to hide behind the authority and the power of the state. committing crimes against people wantonly. She should be prosecuted for that, so that the other social workers they take caution and realize that that is not their purview or their authority, or they're not supposed to be involved in assaulting no other civilian.
I
But
just
I can
hope that.
bet you my last penny, she will not be prosecuted. Why? She's part of the system, and the system protects itself. The other point is that let me go back to what I was saying just now about the Constitution, right? Because I want specifically make sure that people understand where we're coming from. On this platform, I don't think there's any of us here that advocate to disrespect any police officer or rightful authority exercised in a judicious manner. But when you want to come as a police officer and hide behind the vested authority, state authority, that you are exercising state powers, you are not authorized to exercise those state powers as a willy-nilly effort or action. You're commanded by law, which if you violate, you're subject to for prosecution as well, regardless of the fact that you're a police officer.
So be
But the
it.
police officers, they continue to violate and brutalize people, and you go and make a complaint. Sometimes they don't even want to accept the complaint at the police station.
So true.
And for those whose complaint is accepted, at the end of the day, the system turns around and victimizes you. As in the case where that young lady took the case to court, and even the judge laughed her out of court when the evidence was there that the police officer assaulted her, sexually assaulted her in the presence of other police officers in the station, while she herself was a police officer as well. And the stupid judge is going to chase her out of her court to say that the police officer that committed the sexual violation has no case to answer. What the hell is wrong with the system? As I cited just now, Section 2 of the Constitution of Belize, which says the Constitution of Belize is the supreme law of the land. Not what comes out of these knucklehead individuals. At, I see someone in the background. I'm not sure if it's who's going to. Let me hold for a second. It might be Mr. Brackett or maybe Mr. Morrison. If it's Mr. Morrison, I need to help him to come on, and if it's Mr. Brackett, then he can bring himself on. So anyhow, I
Go
don't want
ahead,
to lose
Leonard.
the
Go
trend.
ahead.
I don't want to lose the trend. Yeah, I just didn't want them, whoever it was, to be sitting there too long and not just running on. No? But I'll just pursue the same point. The point that I'm trying to run across to the people of Belize at home and abroad is that we believe in our constitution, and we believe that the people who we elect as our leaders, lawmakers, and government caretakers and police officers are subject to the laws of the land. We are a law.
Yeah, somebody is in the back there.
Yes,
Leonard, you want
yes,
to?
yes, yes, I know. It looks like Greg.
Okay,
So,
well, he can bring
yes,
himself
sir.
on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, um, what I was saying is that we're a society of law. Our country is a country of law and order. Law and order is not just for wanton criminals committing criminal activities in public or out on the street or wherever. The laws are applicable to just about everyone in the country, prime minister all the way down. Nobody is above the law. As per Section 6 of the Constitution, which says we are all equal under the law. So that uh, um, young lady who was the social worker in that activity that we just spoke about, she is not authorized by the law to assault anybody or to physically put her hand on anybody with the intent maybe to try and arrest them or whatever she thought she was trying to do. She broke
Well,
the law.
let's
She committed violence
let's
against somebody else. And she didn't just committed a verbal bullying.
let's
which is
talk
what she was
about
doing
this.
to try and get that person. She
Let,
committed a physical assault, a physical bullying.
let's
She
talk
is no
about this
star.
broadcasting association, Leonard, because it's
So let me transcend to that.
yes,
Um,
because
I have here something that I really wanted to bring to the public attention again, which is part of our constitution. Let me just yeah, okay. I'd like to read. Uh, Greg is still in the background. Uh, well, I need to plan my reading, my support reading capability here because okay. Under section 12 of the Constitution of Belize, it reads as follows, and hopefully we can make a little comment on this after I finish reading. It says, Section 12 of the Constitution, subsection 1 reads as follows, except with his or her own consent. When we're talking about the his and hers, we're talking about the civilians or any person in Belize. So, except with his or her own consent, a person shall not be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedoms of expression. The Constitution is drafted not for the government to use to hamstring and or to criminalize or penalize the civilians or the citizens. The Constitution is written specifically to limit government's powers and government activities, specifically as regards to the civilians. I'll
I
need to
want to
stop
welcome,
and
yes,
just yes.
yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Leonard. I want to
Go ahead.
welcome Mr. Gregory Brackett, our senior panelist and Monday night chairman. I want to welcome you,
Thank you.
sir. It's always a pleasure to see you and to sit in your company, sir.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Mr.
Good night, Greg.
Chairman.
Thank
And
you.
I want to thank you guys as usual for always be here sitting with me virtually. I want to say good night to the people at home and abroad and thanking them for tuning into this our 464th edition of Belizean Affairs. Mr. Chairman, there's a lot going on. My good cousin is referring to the Constitution, the Belize Constitution, of which the present government is bastardizing it.
Hmm.
He wants to take it to another level. But I will go back to him so he can finish his thought.
I think he had
Thank you very
finished up
much.
there. Yeah.
No, not quite.
Uh, 2 more minutes there then, Leonard. Yeah.
I just stopped because I didn't want
Yeah.
Greg to
Okay.
be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Two more
not
minutes then,
acknowledged. You know, I need was to allow for that. See, we
and
have
then we have Mr. Gregory. I mean, sorry, Mr. Morrison. No, yeah, Mr. Gregory Morrison. Good night, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate what you brings to the table, and we appreciate your input always, Mr. Morrison. Thank you
Thank
for
thank you. And
blessing
it's
us here
always
tonight.
thank you, Mr.
thank you.
Morrison. Could you self-identify for us, sir, please?
Yeah. Thank you all for the invite. It's always a pleasure being with you, gentlemen. And I recognize that we work together to kind of bring the information that is so necessary for our people, whether they live in Belize or across diaspora, that helps them understand what's going on the ground in Belize, because the issues are many, and the fight must continue to help to inform the people and to help change the structure and behavior of our government. So thank you very much
Well,
for having
well said, Mr.
me part
Morrison.
of this
Good night to you,
conversation.
sir.
Good night.
Always a pleasure to sit with you.
Uh,
Leonard, you want to finish up?
yes,
Leonard,
yes.
Greg, let Leonard finish up there.
I was reading Section 12 of the Constitution of Belize,
Mhm.
subsection 1, which says as follows: except with his or her own consent, that is, a civilian's consent, except with a civilian's consent, a person or the shall not be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedom of expression. That is, that is precluding the government from from um, from hindering anyone in their freedom of expression. Remember, as I indicated earlier, the Constitution was written to hold the government at bar in terms of not abusing the constitutional rights of the people. It's to guide the government in how they interact with the people and preclude them from overreaching and exaggerating and providing a
Let's go.
bar for the, Mr. Morrison,
Yes, Leonard.
Greg.
Let's go to the Broadcasting Association, Leonard.
That's where
That
I'm
we
at,
want
sir.
to, yeah,
That is where I'm at, Mr.
me,
Chairman.
me and you, we attacked about it a little bit. Then we'll give Greg and Mr. Morrison
No, I just
to
wanted
come in
to.
with a little input on that.
I just wanted to. Oh, okay. No, I was going to ask Greg if he could help Mr. Morrison to come back in when Mr.
Okay.
Morrison was ready. But everything is all right and set. Let me move forward. So the government is precluded from interacting and or stopping anybody in terms of their freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions without interference by the government, freedom to receive ideas and information without interference from the government, freedom to communicate ideas and information without interference from the government, whether that communication be to the public generally or to any person or class of persons, and freedom from interference with his correspondence by the
Yes,
government.
yes.
As I indicated
Um,
earlier, the Constitution is there to
yes,
protect
sir.
people. And
Yes,
therefore,
sir.
when we have the government coming to us talking craziness that they're going to go ahead and find means and ways to make it harder for people to communicate with each other, or to tamper with people's ability to communicate, or to raise the bar so that some people may not be able to communicate, or to stop people from being able to communicate for free because they're going to put a license or some kind of mechanism there. The bottom line is that the government is overreaching and violating people's fundamental basic human rights. They cannot be doing that with the powers of state. The powers of state belongs to the people. We are the state.
Thank
We
you.
didn't hire none of these jackals to come and reign or lord over us and to abuse and block us from being able to exercise our rights. We have the right to be able to communicate with each other without government interference. That's what the Constitution is saying in black and white.
Amen.
So why the hell are they going to try and talk nonsense that they need to go to the House
I,
and make laws to deprive us of the rights that we have?
nonsense.
I'll yield back for right now on that.
Yes, Greg, I want to ask you, since Mr. Morrison might not be up to date on this latest item that we're talking about, Greg, right? Maybe you want to queue up something or go first, then Mr. Morrison have an idea of what is really going on as I speak on
Are
that
you talking
item.
about the
Yes,
broadcasting legislation that
Yes,
we are
sir. Yes,
proposing?
sir. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about, sir.
Mr. Chairman, let me go to a tape.
Thank you,
Then I
sir.
will make a comment on it.
Yes, then I go to Mr. Morrison.
Alrighty, so for the folks who have been watching the news and every other thing that comes in between, you know now that the Belize Broadcasting Authority is now in the discussion phase of increasing the penalty when it comes to obscenity on any platform when it comes to broadcasting. Alright, good. But then there's a part that now they are coming up with ways on how they can literally charge you for monies that you're making on your free Facebook Live, on your free TikTok Live, on your free YouTube Live. Hold on. Maybe you did not hear what I said. Your government, the government of today, which is the ruling party, People's United Party, can't think of nothing else. Zero. And decide, you know what? David Murray has too much of a big audience. He's being partnered and paid for. And so, yeah, he's getting $10 extra, maybe $20 and $40 and from one person and $20 from the other. Sorry, David, to pull you in this, man. And the government's saying, all right, no, come, give me some of that. Give me some of that. Because, yeah, you can't make all of that money. We need to get some of that money too. That's what the government is preparing to do, like literally preparing to do. And their guidance is Belize Broadcasting Authority will take into consideration if someone reports you based on your content that you're doing live. They're going to take into consideration what your audience look like, one. Two, if you have sponsorship, what the sponsorship looks like. Three, how often you go live and how beneficial in terms of monetary contribution does it create. Then they will do their little, as usual, off-grid, out of this world calculation and then come up with a way how they could take monies from you. Bearing in mind, we're not talking about $50,000 endorsement. We're not talking about $100,000 endorsement. We're talking about maybe a $2,000 endorsement, maybe a $100 endorsement, maybe a $50 endorsement. But because they have nothing else, no other way around how to generate funds, they will come at you. Villages, next year, you'll start to pay tax. Yep. You'll start to pay tax. Village. Wow. The village. But then here you have them saying, yeah, big corporations come in. Yeah, man, 10 years free, tax free, duty and stamp exempt completely. Come on, bring your stuff. We'll give you all of these years for free. Yeah, man, bill up, do everything you need to do. But you, the Belizean, who elected them to be there, you can't get a tax break. No, sir, can't. But here we are. 8,867 square miles. And 400,000 to 500,000 people. That's who we have in this country. And this is what you're proposing as a government.
I want to say this to make it make sense. Our Constitution speaks for itself. Any laws that is inconsistent with our Constitution is null and void. And this law that they are trying to implement will be inconsistent with Section 12.1. And I will tell you why. This just came about because of the billboard in Belmopan. This has to do with the billboard in Belmopan, and it has to do with all the leaks of the corruption that is happening in the government. You have third parties that are not political parties that are bombarding the government with social media commercial, and they are trying to silence the people,
Shut it down.
not to get to show those commercials. This is not the first time the government tried this. When the incident happened at the hospital in the Western District, they tried to come up with a law to block the news media. But constitutionally, they could not do it. So here we go again. Social media is a free platform. It does not belong to the Belizean government. The law that they are coming up with is what I call stupid,
Draconian law.
draconian law. But why do I call it stupid? We here on Belizean Affair is being hosted out of America. So who will they charge to license it? And we have many more platforms that is being hosted on the American side that will still bombard them with commercial and other things. So when you have a government doing this, you know why. Election is coming, they are caught, and they want to silence the people. So, as I
Thank you.
said, this is overreaching, and I can't see this flying
Thank you.
because you cannot violate any Belizean right under Section 12.1 to freedom of expression, freedom to share information, and to publicize freely on a platform that is not charging. I go back to you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Morrison, your turn, sir.
Good evening. Thank you very much once again.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I don't necessarily believe this law that they're proposing and the taxing is really about generating money because it will be generating very little money, I suspect. It's about controlling the contents that you speak because they're trying to put that certain languages and certain things cannot be said, and those are all to control what you're saying and how you are having the impact on what they're doing. You know, the dissent that people are showing in these platforms and the resentment and the forwarding of the level of distrust that we're seeing from the government is just fueling their fear and anger that they're moving into this area. What we do here does not command any jurisdiction for government because we don't require a broadcasting license. And so there's no reason and there's no legal ways unless they start corrupting our law and our constitution as it relates to freedom of speech, freedom of sharing information. Only if they corrupt those um, articles of our constitution will they give themselves some power to do what they're planning to do. But even when they do that, it will become constitutional. But we know that these guys have no worries about breaking the constitution and violating it and putting in laws that
You're
are
breaking you're breaking up there, Mr. Morrison. You want to maybe draw a little closer, maybe? You're breaking up, but go ahead.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
We know that what they're doing does not abide constitutionally, and so we need to be strong. We need to be assertive at the very outset as they propose as they're proposing it and talking about their consultation to implement these measures, and we need to go back to the constitution and show them where it's unconstitutional, this whole practice and idea that they're coming up with. So with that, I'm hoping that forums like what we have here and many more. I see many across Belize. TikTok, I see a lot of people doing active communication to the people. And this is putting a true fear in the government because the people are becoming informed. They're gaining knowledge and they're gaining consciousness and they're seeing what the government is doing in these corruptive practices. You know, they went for Budna, they got rid of him, right? To a certain degree. It doesn't say anything else. they're coming for the rest of us. Thank you.
Amen to that.
Miss,
Thank
Mr.
you, Mr.
Chairman, if
Morrison.
I may, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead,
I
Greg.
want to say this to you guys and the people at home and abroad. I just want to go back in time and look at Mr. Mullins from the funeral home,
Mm-hmm.
who went to jail over alleged tax that he
Fraud.
did not pay. Now, with the passing of this bill and how they are presenting it,
Greg, before I step forward in the next statement, what they were doing with Mr. Mullins was that they were trying to overcharge him, and that's the reason why he went to court and tried to get the matter resolved, but they still was trying to victimize him personally. Okay? They cut off the man here, then do all kind of craziness and turn around after the fact and like pretend like when people put the heat on their butt, oh, it's all right, they want to try and rectify it then. They were overcharging the man. They were abusing the man's rights. The man wasn't refusing to pay taxes that could have been due or would have been due. They wanted him to pay taxes on all the other money that he was paying the other subcontractors.
right.
Them,
The
and
point,
the government knows that's not right.
the point I was making, though,
I'm sorry for interrupting.
regardless of that, that is true, right? But look at this on the other side now. He is liable to get caught up in this trap because he broadcast his funeral live when they were leaving from the church to the funeral ground. So that's simply saying no, he has to get a license or pay to do that,
Separate
which
license.
is unethical for a free platform. You already paying taxes when you get your ISP and you put in your internet.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you want to come back and charge again another fee or tax and a license
It's all
for a
about
platform
suppression.
that has nothing to do with you? And that will happen to a lot of other places. All those funeral homes who do live, anything that don't have to do with the government will be caught up. The young man who do the live for cross country race and all that will have to get a license. Make it make sense.
What they're intimating, Mr. Brackett and the rest of the panel, is that the government have the right and the authority under the broadcasting authority, according to them, the way they have the law written up, which is also partially bogus and overreaching. Okay, for those who don't know, they can they are not authorized to do all the things that they're trying to do with those various laws that they make. They always make the laws far and beyond what the law should be, which then allows those laws to become null and void because of their inconsistencies. And then they want to say, well, they are authorized to make laws, so whatever law they make must be constitutional. They're damn crazy. Or they think we are stupid. Okay? But the bottom line is that, as you mentioned, Greg, those are some of the individuals that will get hurt through this process. But the government honorousness and the process that they're trying to undertake is to say they're going to make a law with their supermajority, and therefore, because it's a law that they decide to make, and they got the amount of people to make that law, that law then can trump the Constitution. Okay? And they can
Mr.
take away
Brackett,
people's right to interact with each other, as I read in Section 12.
Mr.
They cannot
Brackett,
stop people from
like
interacting with
the
each other.
13th Amendment, sir,
Exactly.
the public
Exactly.
will not fall for that. There are
Exactly.
many schools that use those platforms for virtual and other
Mhm.
events. Now, if you want to do that, are you going to license a church who sometimes have a live on Sunday
They will
and
not go there.
they are collecting collection?
They're
Remember,
not going
they
to go
just
there.
passed the Civil Assets and Unexplained
Yep.
Wealth bill,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
where everybody, non-profit organization, have to show up everything.
Which should include the churches as well.
Exactly.
But they gave them an exemption. Remember
But
when the head of government business, the unelected one, got up in the Senate and declared that if they allow them to go ahead and vote on the thing, they will give them an understanding that they will not be included as part of that law. You remember that statement? Remember
They
that
do
scenario?
that is
remember that.
correct.
Yeah.
And all the churches went for it, and therefore the church senators then vote for it, only to get themselves caught in a situation where later on, because what they was promised verbally was not put into the law. In other words, the law was not altered to facilitate them being able to be exempted. They are still under that same law, and then
It,
they complain after the fact.
but
They got,
Mr. Brackett,
they
it's
got
so
goodwill.
crazy. When I play the next tape, I'm not doing that now. I will explain why it is so crazy,
Uh,
especially on your side, sir. Especially on you and Mr. Morrison's side.
yes, sir.
Because in America, you have a constitutional right to use obscenity to the police, and nothing can be done. So, is the present government of Belize saying they will go arrest some American? I want to see
They
how
just
that
exempt
will
some of them.
happen.
Then just accept a couple of them the other day were committed a crime that
But
was
I go
on the book.
back to you, Mr. Chairman.
But I
Thank
didn't get
you,
my chance, Mr.
Greg. Go
Chairman.
go to that tape,
Mr.
Greg. So
Chairman, I didn't get my chance just now, so I was waiting because I had the stuff to read. And I was just
yeah,
waiting.
but
Le- can I,
uh,
it not take long? The less than 50 words. Let me
please
finish
do
it.
quickly then, because we have
Section, Section 15 of the Constitution of Belize, subsection 1 reads as follows. No person, absolutely no person, shall be denied the opportunity to gain his living by work which he freely chooses or accepts, whether by pursuing a profession or occupation, or by engaging in or any trade or business, or otherwise. Absolutely no person
amen
should
to
be.
that.
And the government is going around nibbling away in bits and pieces on all these constitutional
So
bars that they have in
yeah,
front of
so
them and
Leonard,
pretend that
the
they can
bottom
do it.
line is that it's going to end up like
Just
the
chance
13th
it.
Amendment, right?
I hope
In
it
other
does.
words, right? I
They are
think that
they are
right.
trying to come with a dual tax and license, Mr. Chairman.
Oh yes,
Because as
yes.
I said with Mullins, you are paying taxes and a license already as a business. Then now they want you to have a license for your broadcast.
Yeah.
That is ludicrous.
They're they're
Go,
actually targeting the
go
small
ahead
people
with
that
the
don't have the
next.
means to fight back.
Right.
Exactly. Go
That's where
ahead
they're
with the
going with
next
it.
tape, Leonard.
Let me
I
go
mean,
to the
I'm Greg.
tape.
Sorry, Leonard. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Exemptions are to be prescribed for national online broadcasters to consider that licensees should only be those that meet criteria such as commercial benefits of the broadcast, audience size, availability and accessibility to the broadcast, and frequency. So, the way this act will work is that once you broadcast online, you will fall within this act. The question becomes whether you should be licensed for that purpose. And how does the BBA decide who should be licensed or not? Now, let's say, for example, I have something to say to the public. I go on Facebook and I go live. But I have, I don't know, maybe 900 friends. I have never gone further than that on Facebook, right? In this sort of situation, I could go live to my 900 friends. Maybe 20 of them will watch me live. It's limited. The public can't view my page. The public can't view my live. So if you report me to the BBA will look at that and say, well, how many people Marissa really may reach during that live? How many times Marissa do a broadcast? Does she do a weekly podcast show? She have sponsors? BTL the sponsor she credit, or, is there a commercial benefit being derived from her online broadcast? That's a consideration. How frequent does she broadcast? That's a consideration. Who has access to her broadcast? Is it the general public? Is it a special group? Is it a very small group? That's a consideration.
So there you go,
Wow.
gentlemen. It comes back to the same thing. We have been down this road before. If you recall, Miss Elena Smith said it. If you hear me say an obscene language, you might want to arrest me. they're saying any obscene language being used on social media, they will come and charge you. No, imagine the ludicrousness of this and what they are trying to do. It's
All that
about silencing the public.
exactly.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's what
We
it's all
are
about
in
at the end of the
election
day.
Um,
mode. They have been exposed and they are bombarded. Gentlemen, I will exit for a second. I have a call.
thank you.
Uh,
Go
Back to
ahead.
you, Mr. Wade.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Um,
what
Mr.
Greg just
Morrison,
played,
say again.
what Greg just played
Uh
with
huh.
the young lady, and
Uh
what the
huh.
young lady was saying is exactly a violation of Section 12 that I read
Exactly.
earlier.
Exactly.
Because all those
Right.
things there, it tells you whether you talk to one friend or whether you talk to the general public, or
Exactly.
it covers the whole of that. And then not only that,
So
the broadcasting authority have laws on the book already. They don't need to go back and create no new laws to try and entrap nobody else or just
so
and to violate the
exactly.
constitution. These guys know what they're doing, but they take
So
us for fools.
like Brad just says there, guys, in my personal view, right, is that it's not about want to collect revenue, right? It's not about that. It's about the heat that is bombarding across social media, across the network, and the way people are finding out things like for instance these
Want to shut
receipts
it
that
down?
are coming up and the way people are gravitating to what really going on in this present People's United Party government. So what they're trying to do now is find a way so they can silence these people or stall them until the election is over. But you know, like I say, for me, it's not about collecting the license fee or the revenue on whatever podcast or whatever this lady is talking about. It's bigger than that, and they would never say it. They would never, say the truth. Because the truth is something that these people are afraid of, right? So it's so sad to see the extent that this People's United Party government is going, man. It's beyond comprehension. I go to you, Mr. Morrison.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Wade. You said it right. The issue is not to, in my understanding, about revenue because the money will be minuscule. It is about in effective control of contents and what people are saying. And once again, we're seeing where they're just coming up with bills similar to how they came up with the cyberbullying law, where they're ill conceived, they're not properly thought out, they're not constitutional, they're not consistent with how we're doing business. If Belize was to do this law, I think it would be the first country in the world where there's a free democratic elected government where they're imposing this type of control over social media contents.
It
Communist
would
countries do it.
it would get our
Totalitarian,
country into trouble because
Yes,
we
sir.
don't have no authority over Facebook as a country.
yeah,
We'll get me in
totalitarian,
a serious trouble.
to,
Okay,
to,
let me
to,
finish up there, Mr. Morrison. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
totalitarian countries does it. It is not consistent with our democracy and with our freedom of speech that any government should do this, and worse, they shouldn't be considering doing it. It makes absolutely no sense to quell speech and freedom of speech and to fly in the face of our constitution
Yes,
with
sir.
this type of corruptive practice. So I'm hoping that, as I said, that we will attack this very early on every platform, and that we'll participate actively in the field work that they are doing, trying to, and I know that a lot of times they have their mindset and such, and so it will come down to some type of public outcry, educating the public on these issues, as we did with the bogus purchase they were trying to make at BTL for Smart and the other companies. Only when the people rise up and start defending their rights will we have them. Otherwise,
Thank you.
you lose them. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Mr.
Guys,
Chairman,
you know, lately we see, you know, the war between the bar association and
Mr.
the
Chairman, Mr.
yes
Chairman,
sir. Yes
could you
sir.
allow me 1 minute of your
Yes sir.
time,
Go
sir,
ahead.
on the
Go
same
ahead. Go
previous
ahead.
point that we were before we switch over?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
I want to emphasize this strongly, okay? Because, as I indicated earlier, the Broadcasting Authority have a body of rules and regulations that they operate under currently. So I don't have a problem with Mr. Um, the gentleman, Mr. Wade, your cousin, what's his name? Is correct name, sir?
Louis.
Mr.
Louis.
Lewis, Mr. Lewis Wade, who is a broadcaster and has a license. I don't have a problem with him accepting the fact that people at his level in the broadcasting environment, such as Channel 7 or any of the others, Amandala or whoever, who currently have a license, for them to continue needing to have their license as a major operation, as a business, as a profiteering business, a corporation. I have a problem when he's going to intimate that this onerous law that the government is trying to propose here and put on everybody else should be accepted and be all right, you know, in order to stifle all means of communication that the Constitution says nobody should be bothering with and tamper with. You know, we
Well,
It's
can't
so
put those two
sad.
things together.
It's
I
so
And
just,
sad,
I,
Leonard and
huh?
Mr. Morrison. You
I just
know.
want to add one thing there, if
Yes,
I
yes, go
have.
ahead, sir. Go ahead.
You know, when you have people that have, there's a difference between a broadcasting license and the airwave as such versus the way we operate
On the
using
internet.
things. It is
Uh-huh.
not the same. It is not the same. They are paying a specific fee to use the airwave, and the government grant them that license, and so that's fine. They have the reasons to do that. This is a new forum that has been developed, and as I said, no other country that is a democracy that I know of have ever put any type of restraint and restriction on streaming contents that people can produce in their home and broadcast to the world wherever they are, from wherever they are. How could they charge me, or how could they stop me from broadcasting into Belize using my platform here? There's absolutely no way they can do that.
But the
Okay?
Constitution tells them that they're not supposed to do it to no Belizean in the
Well,
first place.
no, I
We don't have to
understand.
depend on this on the cover that we have as internationally available to us to broadcast or platform any part of the world. We don't have to depend on that. Our government should not be so onerous as to violate free constitutional rights, and the Constitution is telling them in black and white they're precluded from doing that. They should not be going to the House to try and make no law with the impression that they're going to override free constitutional rights, because they're not supposed to. That's not what they were hired to do.
And sadly, guys, you know, Leonard and Mr. Morrison, you know, be surprised to know the people that actually came up with this kind of law,
They're
right?
trying to shut down the heat that
Right.
they're getting every time they
You'd be
commit crimes against
surprised,
our law.
right?
That's what.
And as for me, I would like to know who are these people, though, right? That comes up with this, you know, just pop it up and say this is what we want to do, you know, and just throw it out there.
And the
But
man, they got a lot of
anyway,
liars among them, Mr.
that's what I'm
Chairman. That are
saying,
the bad
right?
part.
Is
You could have saved the man. They don't have no knowledgeable people,
is
and it's just a trial
right?
and error, and they make mistake, even with the devious intent.
Yeah,
But they know
yeah.
the law.
Mr. Morrison and Leonard, you know, lately, what is hot? You know, when I say hot, that is the day to day, um, you know, on the news, on the media houses, is the words between the defense attorney and the bar association
Mm-hmm.
in the granting of a foreigner dispost.
Yeah.
Um, you hear all kinds of now the defense attorneys Leonard and Mr. Morrison is saying, well, you know what? We will stop taking. We will stop take. When they
Poor
give
people case. Poor
yes,
people
poor
case.
people case.
That are more burden for the poor people and more hurt to the poor
You
people.
know that's what they're actually saying now, Mr. Morrison.
Yeah. Yeah.
They say they will stop take these people. So what? In
Well,
the end, who
The government will be
suffers?
happy with that.
In
The
the end,
government will be
who
happy with that.
suffers? That's my thing, right? But I want you to comment on that. This latest
okay.
war of words between the bar association and the defense attorneys.
Yeah. Well, the government, if they're going to have public lawyers, as I don't think our constitution required, but good practice and good hope for the outcome of justice and 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 such would dictate that any government would provide the resources through a qualified public service attorney to support those of the indigent and people that don't have the means to make it happen. I think that the people from the legal aid society is saying that they need more money. I don't think they're just dropping it in. They're looking. They're trying to find a way to pressure the government to provide them with more funds to address the issue. Because they said, for example, if they have to make a defense for someone in a district town area, they got to travel there. Normally, if it was a paid service, it would cost them $15,000 to $20,000 that individual. They
Mm-hmm.
have settled with the government to provide the service for half that, like $7,500. So it is then the responsibility of the government to make sure that these funds are provided so that the individuals can have an adequate defense. Because I'm sure when they go up there, they're going to be lumping up cases into many different individuals and try and do them. So already there's a little bit of disservice to probably,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that with certainty, but already the attention span of the attorney is not going to be fully focused on those individuals, and therefore, in terms of case and stuff, if you don't get the full focus of an attorney, you may not end up with the full service that you need to deal with your
Well,
matter. So,
yeah,
so
Mr. Morrison, quickly, right? Let me make before you finish up. You know what? I think this latest item that they come up with, the defense attorney, I think that it's a little uncalled for because their real issue was the appointment of that what's that post, Leonard? The
the justice,
yeah, that lady, right?
yeah.
And they
Whoa,
were
whoa.
they
No,
were
but it's different thing. It's two
Yeah, it's
different
two
things.
different things. Two
It's two,
different things, but they all mesh
yeah,
together
it's all
as
it's right.
as, as a
well,
dysfunction of
well,
our court.
it's
Let me
actually two
finish. Let me
different
finish,
things.
Mister. Let me finish, Mister
Go
Brackett.
finish up,
Let me finish.
Mr. Sorry about that, Mr. Morrison. Go ahead.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the importance of making sure that our legal system function as it should is weighted on the nation, because if we are just locking up people that are poor and cannot defend themselves, it doesn't bide well for a country. It doesn't show that we're executing and exercising justice. And that is where the government needs to figure out through its system how to make sure that there is sufficient money to support this program. One of the things I've called for repeatedly is the failure of our government, and this goes back far, since the beginning of time since we've been independent. We need to establish a mechanism on which the budget for our courts or justice system is fixed in some manner of proportionality of what the budget is, because the needs are there to make sure that this branch of government functions effectively and efficiently and with the resources it needs to carry out its mandate in being a branch, the third branch or a branch of our government. So, and to just lean a little bit on the issue you were talking about, where they're concerned about these foreign justices, and I think it was pointed out that some of these people that they appoint to a bench as justices may not have even have the experience as magistrate in their own home state, and so they bring them here. But partly why they do that, I believe, is that the government have exercise control over them in all manner when they're brought in and appointed, and they don't have such control over nationals in terms of being able to be independent and do what they see serves the nation and not a political party's interest. So that is one of the area that I'm glad the bar association and the not the
Defense.
bar association, but the independent justices stood up to make sure that that they confront the government about this practice. There's nothing wrong in sharing justices, and when there's a shortage of qualified people in the country to take up the role that we hire other qualified people from within the Commonwealth, as I'm sure many justices, many legal professionals, not as much as in Belize as do we have out there, but many lawyers and stuff are free to go and practice law in other Caribbean countries. And so there's nothing wrong with that means of reciprocity and collaboration and widening and development of our democracy since we're all based under the same um, British Commonwealth parliamentary
But it
and
shouldn't be to the point
structure.
of excluding Belizeans, sir. That's
Yeah,
where the trouble comes into play.
yeah, yeah.
That's the
Okay,
unfairness.
I yield back to you, Mr.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Leonard. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to just repeat what I just said just now, then, right? That is that I agree with everything that Mr. Morrison had just intimated just now. In addition to the fact that while those people were a part of the Commonwealth, not Commonwealth, the Caribbean Common Market, and we have agreements among us to, in some instances, we have where anybody from a
Share.
certain place can come and work in Belize, or the Belizean can go and work in the other place. I don't have a problem with that. We have always entertained that as a
Yeah.
practice, general practice, even though it wasn't a law. No, it's a law. The point is that you cannot refuse to give Belizeans an opportunity to move up and develop their career path and get to go into these higher levels of the judiciary by blocking them out, by not even accepting their applications or operate on accept. Or, you're getting all these other people from other places who are not familiar with the Belizean way of life and living and the Belizean way of law and the way how we deal with free laws is a little different than some other countries would deal with theirs. And some of their laws that they have that we don't have, you know, because of the way their society, each country have their own sociological norms and standards, and that's the reason
Culture.
we have so much variations in the different laws. Even though most of the laws tend to gravitate towards the same type of premises, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't have one judge from, let's say, Jamaica or Trinidad or wherever, any other judge that is not familiar with the Belize way of life and living, and they're not going to abide by the settled laws in the Belize, and they're going to bring their own legal framework from where they originate from in terms of, let's say, Guyana, for example. Guyana is an independent republic, right? And the way their system operates is a little different than how our Belizean system operates, even though many years ago they used to be one and the same. It's not anymore. Once they became independent and they start have their own president and their bodies of legal institutions start developing their own settled laws and agreeing to certain things and not certain other things. And then they come and Belize and they look at all leaders as being the equivalent of their president and their leader of their country who have the power and the authority vested in them to override the very constitution itself. Our system does not tolerate and allow for that. And so when they come and they make these rulings, like for example in the case of um, Mr. Wade and Jeremy and the others who were involved in the election cases, these judges, three of them, ruled contrary to law. The law is in black and white in the Constitution, telling them exactly what is supposed to be done, and then pretend like to hell with that law. They don't have none to do that. They are authorized and appointed with a tenure to make rulings, and whatever ruling they want to make, that becomes the law of the day. In other words, to the point where the Prime Minister right now is saying, well, they have a conflict in the ruling from two different perspectives, and therefore they might want to go and challenge it. You don't have to go all the way with that, because you could look at the Constitution and what the Constitution says, exactly what they're supposed to do and not do. But they don't want to abide by the Constitution. They're in violation of it in that specific Section 90 portion for decades now. And they keep promising that they will take care of it, they will take care of it. They will take another few decades and they still may not take care of it. Because we have had promises that it was going to be done from last year. Last year came and went. This year is coming and almost ending. And the next election is right about around the corner by less than a year time from now. After that next election, 2 years after that, the other general, they will never have or find the time to get it done. And we keep on getting played over and over. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Like I say, I don't subscribe to all these imported judges based on what you actually just said there, Leonard, right? Because that is exactly what we see happening in the nation of Belize. The way these judges come and they operate, and the
Okay.
sides they take. We have a couple of them that did right by the Belizean people and nation and the constitution of Belize, but they are no longer. They came, did their time, and left, right? But the way this People's United Party is doing it right now is that they are sidelining the qualified Belizean, and then they go publicly and says, well, they weren't qualified or no one applied and nobody was interested on the post, and that's exactly what they say. They keep saying the same
Lie.
thing over and
Lie.
over, right? How much is enough? And then we see the damage. We see the damage that these judges come and do to our nation and to our people, right? And now, because of their contract and a side on the government that hires them, and I don't blame them. They come here in the nation and they enjoy a lot of privileges, a lot of perks, a lot of good things that they enjoy in the nation of Belize. And if they do not rule as according to the government or the ones, it shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it's been going. That's the pattern that they're showing. That is what's happening in the nation. Shouldn't be that way, right? But my thing is that they need to stop doing that and give these qualified Belizeans judges they're just due, right? I don't know why they are afraid to do that. They have a reason why they don't want to do that, but all in all, it's wrong. And I think that's what the defense attorneys are up against right now too, and talking about, right?
And that same point, Mr. Chairman,
So yes, sir.
that same point that you just alluded to just now, let
Yes,
me
sir.
read exactly what the Constitution says about it. Okay. Section 93A, under the heading of the judiciary. 93A, subsection, I think it was what I was going to, subsection 3. Okay. It says, a magistrate shall be appointed by the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, which is the commission that the defense attorneys they have a problem with. And that commission is headed, the chair of that commission is usually the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice.
Yes, sir. And that person, in order to become a judge, have to be, these are the only qualifications that is stated here, other than maybe what they have stipulated on other documents for management purpose within the department. But the Constitution only requires that that person be a qualified attorney at law. How many qualified attorneys at law do we have in Belize?
Amen. Amen.
Hundreds of them, okay?
That's what I'm saying, right?
And you want to tell me that none of them deserve to have a chance to be, even though they keep applying and applying over and over for the position, they keep passing them over and keep accepting.
Leonard, take 1 minute, take 2 minutes for your closing, Leonard, then I go to Mr. Morrison.
Okay, sir. Yeah,
we only have 5 minutes left here. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So they take these other judges who come apparently compromised with the idea that they're coming to work for the government, and whenever the government gets sued, they have to rule on behalf of the government. They have no powers or authority vested in them, apparently, according to them, under the Constitution that apparently they are not too familiar with, for them to rule even against the government. The government has to prevail and end up always prevailing according to their ruling. They don't appear to want to come into any kind of like conflict with the government because they don't want their contract, having kind of termination. I guess they have termination clauses there, but they don't want their contract to be pulled from them.
Amen.
So they go along with the show. And then the government continues to be supported by these rulings, only to have those rulings overturned if the person that was suing the government have enough money to go and get a appellate judge or crew to see the injustice that was done to them by one high court that shouldn't have been done, because that's not the way we used to have our system work.
That's exactly what is going on, Leonard.
Yeah,
that is exactly what is going on. Right.
The way our system used to operate before these new judges are being piled up on the bench, people used to could depend, or they could, they knew what the settled law were. They knew what the expectations were, and you could cite all the different case laws, and you could win your case.
Thank you.
No, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you for that, information. Mr. Morrison, I give you 2 minutes, sir, for your closing, sir. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you again. The last time I remember we had a good Chief Justice that was a foreign person was Chief Justice Benjamin. And we have drifted so far away from that position. And it's nothing against the people from the other Caribbean countries and CARICOM and the Commonwealth, because I think all Commonwealth justices are entitled to practice in Belize. They have the requisite qualifications of the bar. The problem we're seeing consistently is that government have been trying to muzzle the laws in many ways to take control and to silence and to suppress, and they have subverted our legal system. And this is not new. We saw it in the previous government, and I could mention they did it when we were going through the
ICJ.
The ICJ trying to get the ratification law changed, and we see it consistently with this government now.
We had it under the Musa government when they were putting pressure on.
Let him finish with his 2 minutes there, Leonard, because his time is.
No, I was just showing that what he said was correct. That it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah,
I was just contextualizing the facts.
So it is been consistently an issue, and we need to figure out how we appoint our justices. There needs to be an open board to figure how we accept applicants from other countries. And as I said, there's nothing wrong in sharing that and having this cycle of people movement within the region with the knowledge to broaden and to help develop and to help standardize our legal processes. There are differences and there are ways we practice different and there are ways of how we nuances of how things change. But the law is the law.
But
And
they
it
shouldn't box out all Belizeans. That's a bridge too far to cross. Somewhere along the line, at least out of the 8 or so judges that we have, Supreme Court judges, at least maybe 2 or 3 of them, or even one of them, could have been a Belizean. We have qualified Belizeans who have gone and sat on the Caribbean Court of Justice. You want to tell me we're not capable or qualified to sit on one puny Supreme Court? You know, they're lying to us.
Finish up there, Mr. Morrison.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we develop some structure to create this independent judiciary that we need and that our constitution calls for. And one of the main ways of establishing that, I do believe, is to find a way of making sure that the funding for the judiciary is not discretionary on the part of any government, but that it is fixed. The judiciary knows what it is allocated to them, and that they then are able, through their management, set out how they spend this money, and we find ways to set up a board of how we appoint judges and how we
We have
determine
that
the
already.
let me finish. How we determine the qualifications of the justices that we invite to come and participate in our judiciary system. So those are some of the things that I think will bring back some of the order and some of the the grace that our system needs and seem to be short of, and that will help us to make sure that we do in all ways
Thank
exercise
you.
justice to those individuals and to the people we invite to our country to serve as judges and magistrates.
Thank you,
All of that,
Mr.
all of that,
Morrison.
all of that is currently in
We're
place, Mr. Morrison. It's just that
we
it's
are
being
just
bastardized.
about
Okay?
over our time, Leonard and Mr. Morrison. It's always a pleasure, and
Thank you.
you said it right, Leonard and Mr. Morrison. You know that our judiciary system needs a lot of changes, a lot of looking into, because it's not right. It's not going down the right path, right? It's not right. And again, with all this happening within the system, who suffers? The little man, right, Leonard and Mr. Morrison, that goes in front, that cannot afford, to go to the next level. When they
Well,
shut you down,
when we have a failed justice system, not only the
yes,
little man suffers, we all suffer.
we all
It,
suffer.
it
Yes,
is true that
it's across
probably
the
the
board.
man with a little money could
Serious.
buy himself a little bit more time and
Yes,
space, but we all are degraded with a failed justice system.
yeah. It's a serious situation, guys. A serious situation that needs help. And it's so sad that the government of today is not making it any better. Any better. It's making it worse and worse and worse. On that note, I want to thank you, Mr. Morrison, for bracing us tonight with your presence, and
Thank you.
share your ideas and share your views. Leonard, it's always a pleasure to sit in your company, my brother.
The
You
pleasure is
know,
mine too,
um,
Mr. Chairman.
we always sit here when we try to bring as much knowledge as we have and see it, and we try to bring it to the Belizean people, right? Some accept our whatever we share, and some says, well, they don't like our program, right? So,
Well, I don't think they.
They have,
I
I
they
think
mean,
have a,
I think the government said they don't like
they're
it. They
entitled.
want to
They're,
tax you.
they're entitled to their opinions and ideas. So
exactly. Yes,
you know,
yes.
we don't have a problem with that.
But we here on our program, we share healthy debate, right? Um, we all, showing our concern, our views, how we see it, and we respect Mr. Morrison, we respect each and every one ideas and what they
Yes,
bring
sir.
to the table. Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you.
It's
Thank
always
you
a
very much again,
pleasure.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Nice
Thank you.
program, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Leonard. Can you please,
We're done.
yes, thank you.